Okay, here we go. Monday, 23rd. Looking back, day 15 was midterm. Okay, so that was a Friday, and that was, okay, midterm, and that was last Friday. Okay, so we're currently on day 16, right here. And this is week 9. Introduction to Networks. OSI model. Talk a little bit about background, go over that a little bit. Talk a lot about IP addressing, lab setup, Tuesday PM for IP6. Okay. Alright, so we talked a little bit about learning. You know, if you do the same thing you keep doing, you're going to get the same grade. We talked about the course and how it functions, and taking the exams and learning from the exams, learning from the labs, completing those, and learning from them. You know, not just checking things off, but actually learning cognitive skills. All right. So we reviewed, okay, and again, these three fit together in the TCP/IP model, and so we talked about how we're going to transport network layer IP addressing, and we did a lot of work on the data link. Physical address, MAC address, and physically how the bits move between or through the medium. Not going to spend a lot of time on that. We talked a little bit about IP4, IP6. We configured IP4. We're going to configure IP6. A couple different ways you can handle this. If you have two IP4 networks, you need to send them across an IP6, you can tunnel them through an IP6. You can change from IP4 to IP6 and then change back, or there is a way to dual stack. You could just run two protocols across the network. Alright, talk about static routes we put in, and then dynamic routes. We have routing protocols that will adjust routes like the internet does automatically, and they repopulate the routing table based on the best path to get somewhere, right? I like that best. Okay, we talked about unicast. A good example would be the internet. You ask for a web page, it sends a web page back. It's a unicast. Broadcast, we talked about address resolution protocol, where it'll send a broadcast with the IP address and then get back, you know, match the IP with the MAC address. ARP in the computer, and we talked about ARP in a router too. Broadcasts do not go through routers. Okay, so if it hits a router, broadcast is going to stop. It's not going to go through the router. Multicast is the way that we can send information to just a particular group. Not everybody, and not just one, but a particular group. And you'll learn more about that later on. Private addresses we cannot use out on the internet. Public addresses we use on the internet. These are the private addresses. So, for example, your computer at home probably has a private address that it uses, uses in your house, okay, and that's converted to a public address when it goes to the internet. We looked at the place, if you're going to look at addresses. ARIN, American Registry of Internet Numbers. So, you know, a lot of people will say, what is an IP? And they'll get it from some other location, but they're the ones that have distribute them. For example, you'll notice we have 207, 165, 226, and NIACC gets to use this block for their host or interface addresses. /24, 24 prefix bits, like I marked right here. Okay, so we are no material for this page. I accidentally added a page. Alright. We talk about addressing. Okay. This is good to write down if you need to do IP addressing to convert. So if you had a group of ones and zeros like this, this one means we have one group of 32, one group of 8, one group of 4, and one group of 1. So you would just add those up. Okay, 32, that would be 40, 44, 45. Okay. So here we have one group of 128 and one group of 2 so we don't get confused. So that gives us 130. Alright? Now 32 bits, and then we have a mask that indicates the network part of it. If we go /24, that means 24 prefix bits. That would be these 3 right here. We need to be able to convert back and forth. Okay, so if you have an address and you need to convert it, like you have 192, you can take 128 out. I'm not going to go through all the steps, and then you'd know you had a bit in that particular position, and then you keep subtracting it off until you get 0. Now, we did talk a little bit about hexadecimal, 16 digits, 0 through 9, then 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That would be 16 digits. And that's how we get letters in there. And those, like if you had, we did an example, we had one up on the screen. For example, this, that's one group of 8. That would be an 8 hexadecimal. Okay? You really just see those dots, you really just look at the 4 bits, because this gives you 16 combinations. This one then, we have 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 would be a B, so that would be a B. We'll be changing back and forth quite a bit. We'll get used to it. Alright, so we're in chapter 7, so we have these particular things to be working on. Got these packet tracers, and some are optional. Okay. This lab right here, we're going to do Friday. Okay. And then you notice this is optional. And then this packet tracer here, required. And so we want to finish these up, it looks like, by Monday. Okay. Alright. That's from another class, so we don't have to worry about that. We're all done.